Alright guys, we are back with another Crypt TV reaction. We're going to take a look at the Season 2 trailer for The Birch now, and this looks pretty interesting. Apparently, from what I've seen from promotional posters and this trailer, the main character, who also ended up being the main antagonist, is not dead yet, so this should be interesting. I mean, I really enjoyed the series when it first came out. I watched like every single episode. It got really dark and stuff, and there's some bits of it that just made me uncomfortable. So this should be interesting. But regardless, I enjoyed it nonetheless. Like how it had a whole origin story section for the Birch, and of course, it had its own unique focused arcs on both of the other characters in the present story. So this should be interesting, guys. With that sitting out of the way, let's get right into it.
You know, people hate you, but you're just misunderstood. We're like sisters.
Who the heck?
I know exactly how you feel.
Oh.
They all just think you are this horrible, disgusting person. Nobody's going to do anything about the meanness in the world.
Every time I close my eyes, I can hear them laughing.
Rory, it's just high school. Just breathe.
I'm sick of being treated like a dog.
Calling on the Birch doesn't make any of that go away.
Where you makest me, I shall come.
I'm going to kill the Birch.
Where you makest me, I will break every one of you. Who breaks me? Where you makest me, who breaks me? Tonight, the pain stops.
Oh dear.
Thee who breaks me, will come undone.
Well, apparently there's also another series that's going on right now. I'm not sure if they're probably done with it by now, but it should be interesting nonetheless. It looks like somehow Evie's returned. She escaped the Birch, and now she's trying to keep someone from falling down the same path as her. This poor girl who's just bullied and seems to be a lot more understandable in her motives than her. And she's going to actually dare to do what no one else has before, and she's going to try and kill the Birch, which seems like suicide in and of itself, because apparently the Birch has already proven quite... You can't really get rid of her that easy, from what I've seen. When Evie broke the wooden doll thing, when she broke the symbol that she made, and the Birch dissipated, apparently she was still there. I mean, she was able to save Thurston's little brother that way, thank goodness, but it doesn't seem like the Birch can easily be that killed. It's just interesting how they've, set her. It's really interesting what they've done with the Birch through that series. I mean, she's not all good as people think she is, and I mean, yes, she does good things, and the way they have her set up in this series is very interesting. It adds a nice complexity to the character, and I really like how they set up her origin story about this girl who was just, I guess, maybe her parents brought her into some sort of dark ritual, and this evil's lived in her. It's just been a natural part of her life, and when people piss her off, that evil takes hold and bad things happen, and her parents tried to control her, tried to make her forget, and they just couldn't control her, and they never really showed her any true love, because they didn't think she was capable of real love, but she was. But that evil could take hold of her at any time when people would do bad things to her, and eventually it grew out of control, and she became the Birch. She just had it when her foster mom killed her daughter, and now she's just been, all that evil has just been living in her, and she's been trying to find a new daughter for herself, and she found it with Evie and kidnapped her when she just couldn't cope with the loss of her own mom. And Thurston was the only guy, and he was also the leader of this group of bullies. I mean, he wasn't really a bully, but the other two were, and I mean, and of course they had their own sympathetic qualities to them, but of course them doing what they did to Evie just drove her nuts to the point to where she killed them with the Birch, and of course she also lost a friend doing that because one of the guys happened to be her boyfriend, and Thurston, who's been under the care of his abusive uncle, has just been, trying to escape him and his little brother, and it just didn't work out. He had to apparently, I guess, being forced to do things that he didn't want to, and one of them eventually led to the death of Evie's mom when he sold her something that killed her, because, I mean, her mom was a drug addict, and she got all her stuff from Thurston's family, and the drugs she got from them killed her, and she's hated them ever since. But Thurston and his little brother have been apparently the only real bad guy was Thurston's uncle, and perhaps the parents who dumped him with him. It's a really interesting story, but Thurston eventually decides to make sure his little brother can be in a good place, and he takes the heat for everything his family's done, and he makes it out alive, thank goodness, but at the cost of him being somewhere else. I hope eventually he can have a happy ending and be with his brother in California like they had planned to, because I'm glad he made it out alive, but I just wanted them to, I bet everyone wanted them to, have their happy ending. And of course, well, I get why they were trying to set up Evie as this, poor bullied girl initially. Apparently she just turned out to be the real antagonist, because she didn't want to listen to her dad or accept comfort from others, and she just gave in. She just gave in to the dark powers that the Birch was offering her, and she did some pretty crappy things. So, yeah, that's pretty much the whole synopsis, and it's interesting to see where they go with it from here now that Evie's actually back. And I wonder how that other girl, the one that she talked to, apparently there were videos from her as well. Like, I forgot what her name was, but she had a little brother who eventually became another victim of the Birch, and she's been trying to learn more about it. And she just knows nothing good comes from the Birch because of what happened to her little brother. I forgot what her name was, but yeah, she had her own individual videos, and yeah, she revealed a lot more about the Birch than we had ever expected to. I just kept hoping that somehow the Birch wasn't completely as evil, but we all knew it would eventually lead to that, so yeah. So guys, I'm going to leave it here. I hope y'all enjoyed, and hopefully this or something comes from Crypt TV, and I can actually have a more valid reason to be watching them again like I used to, because to be honest, I really miss doing reactions to these guys, and they were actually one of my first, camera recorded reactions like I'm doing right now. So yeah, hopefully one day Crypt TV's back to the way it was before, and we can enjoy it all again like we used to. And till then, I will see you on the next one. Peace.